from Unitil, saying they have increased their staffing, including nearly a dozen crews that are out in Fitchburg. A real good chance for power outages.
All right, that's the live picture there in Worcester, and all day we're asking for your storm photos. This is Brooke from Weymouth enjoying the snow for the first time. Well, she'll get plenty to enjoy today. Upload your own pictures to the ULocal section of the BostonChannel.com, and we'll be showing those pictures and passing along comments from all throughout the region
Those kids
throughout
are
the morning.
say, I remember Harvey and JC telling us about this big storm.
You know, there's something about a snowstorm. It's kind of a unifying experience. You know,
we're bonding.
People come together.
Yeah, we're bonding. We'll be bonding all day.
Harvey, I'll bond more with you after you clean up my car.
Okay, that's a deal.
That's a bond.
All right, let's kind of look at the overview of this. And again, you know, if you've been sleeping the last number of hours and spend a little time with all of us and you peek out the window, you're going to go, whoa, things are than the last time perhaps you looked out that maybe before going to sleep. Yes, we're dealing with heavy, wet snow along the coast. It is very heavy and very, very wet, loaded with moisture. The heaviest is going to be from now through noon, and we have been experiencing 1 to 2+ inch per hour snowfall accumulations. Obviously, the accumulations have been a little bit quicker over inland areas, well inland, Worcester County, where the snow is a little bit drier compared to the coast. So we're certainly worried about the risk of power outages in the bands near the coast that are getting all this heavy, wet snow with the temperature at or slightly above freezing. It's going to weigh down all the tree limbs and power lines, so we're concerned about that because there is a lot of wind as well. Northeast now, but it will be switching around to the northwest by the time we get to this afternoon. This is an idea of some of the snowfall that has fallen. One of the latest reports just into us, Natick, 7.5 inches of snow, and it only started flaking around midnight or shortly thereafter. So you can see that's added up, do the math. That is almost 2 inch per hour snowfall rates that are going on in some of the very heavy, which yes, we've been getting reports from you. Thanks for letting us know about some thunder snow. It is wild. You get that with some of these real intense coastal storms and nor'easters. Here you see the temperatures a little bit above the freezing mark. It's very from Hyannis on out, and even down along southern Rhode Island, southeast Connecticut, and extreme southern tip of Massachusetts, some mixing, which JC is going to be talking about in just a couple of seconds. The other thing I wanted to mention is the wind. This is wind whipped, and some of the peak gusts in the last hour, 47 at Nantucket and 46 here in Boston. So we're definitely in the middle of this storm. Let's get more on this big mess and where some of the real action is located right now with JC.
Yeah, Harvey, you know what? I was looking at what's happening up along the North Shore. Let's go right to our live Doppler radar because there's an intense band that's going right up through Essex County. So you can see Ipswich, Topsfield, Boxford, Georgetown, Newburyport, very heavy snow, Beverly as well. Visibility in this area is reduced down to a quarter mile. There is a little bit of rain, it looks like just on outer Cape Ann, Rockport and Gloucester. You're either seeing a mix or pure rain as a coastal set up there. It is raining, as Harvey mentioned, on parts of Cape Cod, but again, flipping back and forth as you get closer to the canal. There's a Sandwich and Bourne in snow. Hyannis has gone back and forth between snow and rain, so you'll have lesser snow totals as you go to the outer Cape. We're also getting a drier, fluffier snow, but snow nonetheless as you go a little bit farther into the interior. This snow across much of the area is sticking to roads, certainly to the street. You need to be very careful. Hopefully you don't have to go out today because we're seeing another intense band going down through Concord and Maynard and Sudbury. And as Harvey just mentioned, we have reports of 7.5 inches in Natick, which puts it almost at 2 inches per hour. If you look at the visibility also, I mean, this is an issue out there when you're seeing quarter to half mile visibility. And you know in some of these spots we have whiteout conditions, especially I'm concerned as you go up to Newburyport area with that intense band. I'm sure there are some whiteout conditions there as well. Wind direction, been talking about this. We're starting to see it coming around more to the north. That's our cold wind direction. So places along the coastline that are still seeing some mixing, especially around Cape Ann, will flip back towards snow. It will take a little bit longer as you get down to Cape Cod. So this is going to be a rough ride, I think, Harvey, for much of this morning at least.
Boy, no question about it, especially the next number of hours. Here you see in Futurecast, we jump ahead to 7 o'clock, still in the Boston area, west, north, southwest, very heavy bands of snow. Now, this might be a little bit exaggerated in my opinion, but it's showing the mix line trying to get toward the South Shore. We already know there's some mixing on the South Coast, as JC pointed out. But the point is here in Boston, I do not expect a flip to rain, and then I actually expect a backlash to come through during the afternoon. So we're not going to be completely done with this until later on tonight. That's completely. But the real heavy duty stuff is what's falling out there right now. What are we going to have when all is said and done in terms of snowfall accumulations? Well, as you can see, it finally does come to an end later tonight. We're still figuring that just west of Boston, I think Middlesex County out to Worcester could be one of the jackpots. Northwest Rhode Island, Merrimack Valley could all see about 12 to 18 inches of snow. The amounts could be a little bit under, but still impressive, perhaps 10 to 15 closer to Boston, because the heavy wet snow doesn't accumulate, doesn't pile as much, but it just compacts and is just like lead weight. And one other thing I got to let you know, later on today, the temperature will be dropping in Boston. So what is slushy is going to freeze hard late today and tonight. So that's another issue. The amounts, total amounts of snow. Much of this has already occurred now in Cape Cod, because once they flip to rain, I think there's only going to be a brief delay. So those are some of the things with the storm. Let's check the forecast for you. The morning is the very heaviest snow, but there's still going to be additional snow with some additional accumulation. Mix in Eastern Mass and Cape Cod at times. 20s in Worcester County to the upper 30s around Nantucket. For tonight, snow tapers to flurries during the evening, then ends completely later tonight. It'll be in the teens and low 20s. And all that snow is not going to really go anywhere as we check out the next 5 days. And you can see it basically stays on the cold side. Don't see any major storms over those 5 days, but a little light snow or flurries possible along about Saturday night. Dorothy?
Okay, well, that by comparison looks just fine. Yes, okay, this is what I want to show you. This is what we can see out there. Most of the traffic are snowed in, and that means your visibility is going to be the same way. For that reason, there is a 40-mile-per-hour speed restriction in effect on the Pike. That's from end to end. That's from the state line all the way into Boston. There's also a ban